Hi, third grade. All right, I just want to review over some of our arithmetic, especially the division that we've just been going through, because that's going to help you to really make it solid before we're done. So I really want you to think this through carefully when I'm just kind of reviewing over this with you, because this is even a little bit different. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since we've done our arithmetic. So from what you had before, so we'll look at it together and just see. So again, we're not looking at this 40 going into 366. That's way too much. We haven't learned a 40 division table. It's going to confuse your minds. So what we are doing is we're going to look at how many fours, and then we were talking last week that it was how many fours are in the first number. But there aren't any fours in 3. So we are not looking at how many fours are in 3. We're going to look at how many fours are in 36. But look at what I did. I drew a line over all 3 numbers, because when I find out how many fours are in 36, I'm not going to multiply 4 times 9 and get 36 and then have 6 left over. No. When I multiply, my answer is going to be times the 40. So I need to make sure that I am going into this whole number, all 3. So how many fours are in 36? Well, you should know your 4 multiplication, 4 division, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 36, or 32, 36, excuse me. So there are 9 fours in 36. We put our 9 over the last digit because that's why we drew our line there, so we would remember it's not how many 9s are in 36, it's how many 9s are in 366. And now I will multiply my outside numbers. 9 times 40, 9 times 0, 0, and 9 times 4 is 36. See how simple that is? And so once I do that, then I subtract 366 minus 360. It equals 6. And obviously, if I compare, it's less than 40. And that becomes my remainder 6. And I can check it. 40 times 9, 0 times 9, 4 times 9, and then add my remainder, 6, and then 6, and then 3. 366 is the answer, okay? So that's a very simple thing to do. So if you can't go with the first digit into the first digit, then go with this first digit into the first 2 numbers, but draw your line over all 3 because you're going into all 3. You see how that, it wouldn't have worked if we did 9 times 40 equals 360 to have that 36, to think we're only going to 36. No, you need to make sure that you're doing 9 times 40, not just 9 times 4. Hope that makes sense. Then we're going to come down here to our next one. I want to make sure it's low enough so that you can get the whole thing. So once again, it's not how many 80s are in 765. It is 765 divided by 80, but if we can take the 8 and just go into, we can't go into the 7 because it's too small, so we need to go into the 76, but draw a line over all 3 numbers so that you'll remember to multiply by 18, not 8. So how many 8s are in 76? So count by 8 till you get to 76 or something close to it, but not over it. Draw 76 marks if you have to, but you should know your 8 division table. And we have 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, and then it goes to 80, so we have to stick with 72, which would be 9 again. So we put our 9 over the 5, because remember, we have to go into all 3 of these, okay? And then I simply multiply 9 times 0, 0, and 9 times 8, 72. And then I subtract, just like we've normally been doing. 5 minus 0 is 5, and 6 minus 2, 4. So then 7 minus 7 is 0, so we don't need to put anything there. So is 45 less than 80? It is. So if it is, guess what it becomes? It just becomes your remainder. I know that's a big remainder, but when you've got big numbers like this, you're going to have big remainders. Well, let's check and see. 80 times 9, 0 times 9, 0, 7 times, or 8 times 9, I don't know why I keep saying 7, 72, that's why I keep saying 7, because it's 72. Then add 45. 0 plus 5, 2 plus 4, and 7 plus 0. And if they're equal, then we've done it correctly. All right? So remember, this isn't hard. It's just taking that small part and going into it. So it's just like how we first learned division. And you had to take it a little bit at a time. Take it those smaller chunks. So take a smaller chunk. 8 into 76, 4 into 36, but remember it's 40, remember it's 80, so you want to go into all three of those numbers to make it make sense. Now today, we are going to talk a little bit more about division. I know many of you hate your division, but I think you're going to like this one, because division problems that have only a one-digit divisor. So we're back to one digit, and these are the easy ones. You're like, oh, Miss Monroe, we did these already. Yes. When they have a one-digit divisor, they can often be solved mentally. You can do them in your head. We're still going to follow the 5 steps of division. I love saying 5 steps of division, because you still have to do the 5 steps of division. Divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. And I should see you all, hear you all doing those, okay? But you are going to do those mentally, so we don't have to write everything down. This is why I wanted to go through this page with you as well, because I think that you would like this part of it. So the first thing we do in our 5 steps of division, compare, bring down, is what? We divide. So how many groups of 6 are in 43? You know how to divide by 6. Count how many. It's going to be 7. Good, I heard some of you. The answer is going to be 7. It goes over the second digit, because you can't go how many 6s are in 4, because there aren't. So into 43. 7, and then what answer is that? What is 7 times 6? Because we have to multiply. 7 times 6 equals 42. How far away is 43 from 42? 43 minus 42 equals 1. And is 1 less than 6 if we compare? It sure is. And so we would put remainder 1, because there's nothing left to bring down. So our answer is simply 7, remainder 1. And that's all that you have to do. We didn't have to write any of the steps. That's why I wrote them all on top of each other, because we're not doing the steps today. How cool is that, right? All right. Look at our next one. How many 5s are in 43? Well, you know, what is the closest that we can get to 43 counting by 5s? It's going to be 8, right? So you put your 8 here over the 3, over the 1's place, and 8 times 5 equals 40. And then we subtract 43 minus 40 equals 3, right? That's an easy one. And then 3 is less than 5. So once we know that we compared and it's less than, and there's nothing left to bring down, 3 becomes our remainder. 8 remainder 3, boom, done. How quick is that? How awesome is that, right? See, aren't you glad we did a little bit extra? Because this is easy stuff. All right, so then how many 3s are in 67? This one's going to be a little bit different than what you had, because we're going to have to look at it a little more carefully, because we can go into 6, okay? We can figure out how many 3s are in 6. How many 3s are in 6? We know that there's 2. So we multiply 3 times 2, 6. And then we know that if we subtracted 6 minus 6 is 0, we would compare, we would bring down my 7. Now, how many 3s are in 7? Well, 7 is only 1 higher than 6, so we know there's not a group of 3 in there. So it's going to be 2 again. 2 times 3 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. compare, it's less than 3. There's nothing left to bring down. So we just put a remainder of 1. That's it. That's all we have to do. So how many 3s are in 6? And then how many 3s are in 7? And then you know there's going to be 1 left over, and it's your remainder. Boom, done, done. All right, so now how many 2s are in 6? There are 3 2s in 6. 3 times 2 equals 6, but we don't have to write it down. 6 minus 6, 0. If we compared, it is less than 2, and we bring down the 8. How many 2s are in 8? 4. And 4 times 2 equals 8. 8 minus 8 equals 0. There's nothing left to bring down. There's no remainder. Our answer is 34. Done. How quick and easy, right? All right, last 2. How many 3s are in 28? You can't do how many 3s are in 2, because is there a group of 3 in 2? No. So how many 3s are in 28? Yes, I heard you right away. Good job, Avery. That is 9. So 9 times 3 equals 27. Whoops, I'm right. So used to writing it down. You're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be like, oh, I don't have to write it down. Then 9 times 3 equals 27. 28 minus 27 is a remainder of 1. Done. Easy. All right, last one. How many 3s are in 9? There's 3 3s in 9. So we multiply 3 times 3. It equals 9. 9 minus 9, 0. Obviously, we compare and it's less than. Bring down my 1. How many 3s are in 1? Oh, yeah, there's none. So 0 is my answer. And I multiply 0 times 3, which is 0. Put it under, in my mind, put it underneath my 1. 1 minus 0, 1. And compare, 1 is less than 3. So nothing left to bring down. It becomes my remainder. That is all. That's it. And that's what you're doing on page 323. Short division. Division problems with 1-digit divisors can often be solved mentally. Instead of writing down each step, do the steps in your head. How simple and easy is that? So I want you to work on sections 1 and 2. I also want you to go down to section 3 so you can review the multiplication, 3 on the top times 2 on the bottom, because some of you are still struggling a little bit with that. I don't want you to do any of the rest of the page. You don't have to worry about that. If you want to, that'd be awesome. I'd be really happy, but you don't have to. I would like you to look at the story problem at least, because you got to get your mind around those story problems. And if you can figure out, especially letter A for section 7, that's an interesting, it's not hard, but it's just an interesting Roman numeral to see if you can figure it out. Or if you can figure out all of them. They're all easy, but there's just some little tricky parts to see how well you know them. So, but those will be kind of like bonus question things if you want to answer those. But how simple is that, right? Not hard at all. So definitely work hard on that page. Look at those short division problems because they're very, very simple. You're not writing any steps. You're doing it in your head. Think it through, just write the quotient. That's all you have to do. And if there's a remainder, write the remainder. And you don't have to write anything else down. But then for section 2, I do need to see the work so that I can see that you're doing it correctly. But how easy is that? All right. So work on page 323. You don't have to do the money problems at the bottom. But I definitely do want you to work on your short division and go back through that, the bigger division that we've been working on just to make sure you've got that down, okay? And then you can always check out your Roman numerals for me and your story problem. But I'm not requiring those, but for extra credit, I guess, that's what you can do for me. All right. I hope that you enjoyed that and realized how simple and easy that was. So do your best, work hard, continue to make me proud because we're almost done. That's it. We got one more day. And then you are officially free. So I hope that you do well. Also, there's something special that I have for today, but I want this done first, okay? And then we'll do something special a little bit later on. All right. I love you. I'll see you soon. Take care.